Welcome to the show, everybody. Today we have a special guest who you may recognize. Back again for the second time is Matt Donovan. Last we spoke, you were actually the head coach at a different university. Today, you can see by his shirt, he is at UMBC, the head coach of swimming and diving over there. So please tell us a little bit about how you've been and what you are doing right now.
Thanks for having me. And I'm a little further south now. Last time we spoke, I was in New York City. Now I'm down in Maryland. So University of Maryland, Baltimore County. And I've been here about 6-7 months now, that Baltimore City and Baltimore County are different things. So I'm getting well-versed in my Maryland geography. So things are great. And it's been good. I got down here April 1st, caught the tail end of the UMBC season last year. Mm-hmm. And then, the summer, had our typical summer training, that sort of stuff, gotten our staff together, and started our season like most teams early September. And we're just about at the halfway point, so things are good.
Things seem like they're very good. You actually had one of your big meets this past weekend. You guys went to ECAC. So how did everybody do, and how do you feel about it?
There's so many variables. There's so many different things, and it was a new meet for them. This time last week, I was probably talking to my assistant coaches on the side. I don't know how we look, but they did tremendous. Everybody's season bests, a bunch of lifetime bests. Took down a few meet records. Great. We even had one young lady make an NCAA B cut, and that was tremendous. And the great thing about that is once one person does it, everybody's, well, how do I do it? And what can I do? And it just success breeds success. And that's what we're looking for.
Positive inspiration is one of the biggest drivers of success, because you can get so much energy from the joy that comes from having a good competition, seeing your friends win, and then taking that and using it yourself to fuel everything. So this meet, was this the first big meet that your team actually went to with you at the helm?
No. So what was interesting, as I was at Long Island University this time last year. We spoke, I think it was August maybe of 2020. So what had happened, so I'd accepted the position and still had a few weeks left in the season at LIU, which was a little unusual, but I wanted to finish my commitment with that group. That group put in a ton of work, especially through COVID, and wanted to finish their championships up. The championships at LIU was through the last week of March. So the meet was actually a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, I went back into the office in Brooklyn, grabbed my stuff, got in my car on Saturday, moved down. When I got to Baltimore, we had 3 weeks before the America East Championships. So a couple of my friends have joked that I might hold the record. I might be the first coach to ever coach 2 college teams at 2 championships in the same season. So that was interesting all in itself. That was kind of the start of it with me here, is that we went to championships 3 weeks into my training with them. I didn't do too much before with them ahead of time, a few emails here and there, gang, try to be doing this, try to be doing that. We did it really, really a compact season. It was a week of kicking, a week of volume, and a week of taper and ready to go. And so we got a little bit of a sample size of what they could do, and they got a little bit of sample size for me. It's almost kind of like when you're on Broadway, they have that, they have the previews, before they open up to the public, I guess. So it's kind of like that. So it was actually pretty good in a lot of ways. They swam amazing. You wouldn't know that they only had 3 weeks of training when you look at the results. It was a great way for them to kind of get to know me a little bit, me to know them a little bit. This past weekend was the first real together as a group sort of thing.
And can you tell me a little bit about maybe the differences and some of the things you've learned transitioning from one group to the next? Like, are there similarities and differences between the teams and your coaching style and anything that, everybody brings to it?
Yeah, I think I've done this a few times now, where you go to a new team. The similarities are there are no similarities in a lot of ways. You have to be ready for anything, right? You have to be ready for whatever. Every team, all kidding aside, is for the most part the same, but there's different personalities, different strengths, different weaknesses, but the one thing I've learned is I have to be me. I can't be anybody else. And hopefully the team buys in. Hopefully the team can follow what I'm prescribing.
Right.
I've done that before, where I've tried to keep everybody happy, and I tried to be like the previous coach, and I tried to do this, and it doesn't work. I think the number one thing athletes understand is being genuine, so I just have to be me. And it's okay if they come up to me and say, well, I'm used to this style of training, or I prefer this kind of thing. Okay, let's have a talk about it. Let's communicate. You want more volume? Okay, we'll get more volume. You want, more speed? We can get more speed. But here's how I'm going to do it. Here's how I'm going to present it. And, I just have to be me. The few times I've tried to not be me, we've fallen flat on our face. That's the key, I think.
I think that's a fantastic philosophy, because at the end of the day, you are going to be yourself every single day. So the things that work for you, that you end up coming back to over and over again, the things that stick are meaningful. They are what you bring to the table that make you Matt Donovan, that make me Tori Weller. And, we want to stay true to those things, even as we are, building and developing and learning and adapting. So I think that's really fantastic. In terms of your philosophy, your style, you have to train your swimmers in a way that they will perform at their best when they need to. And over the course of a season, our swimmers will be going to smaller meets and then also the bigger championship meets that are kind of the corner and touchstones of their swimming career. How do you differentiate between, how do you train them for, what are some of the things that you do to ensure that they understand their trajectory at every point along the path?
And this is going to sound like a non-answer, and I apologize in advance. But then the resting period, which we all know about, we don't treat it differently. Every meet is a big meet. I joke about this a lot with the swimmers. I'm like, we're not going to go down to the basketball team, and the basketball coach is not going to say, hey, I don't want you guys to score too many points today because we're going to need to save those points for the end of the year. Our job is to race. We race all the time, and we all know that throughout the course of the season, one of your best swims is going to be in a meet you don't expect, right? So we race all the time. And I truly mean that. Our team, just the last meet prior to this, shave, taper meet, whatever, we broke a pool record and we didn't even expect it, and quite frankly, we didn't even necessarily have our A lineup at that particular relay. Everybody's just told, let's go fast all the time. Let's race this race. That being said, obviously at a championship meet, you have your tech suit on, a little bit more rest, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But at a championship meet, you might be swimming the last event of the session. You get a 20-minute break, then you got to get up on the block and do the relay. You're expected to go fast. So there's not that much difference, again, other than taper, rest, things like that. So we talk about racing all the time. We talk about going fast all the time. And we expect, season bests. We go on the block expecting to do your best time in that race, because I don't feel... How can you say the converse? How can you say to an athlete, get up on the block, it's okay to not go fast. It's okay to not try for your best time. So our philosophy is race all the time, expect the best time all the time, and really, really go for it. And that's also the other thing too, is that's how we train. So if you're not racing at full speed, at full capacity, at full intensity in the meet, then when I'm taking my notes on the side of the pool, I don't know what to fix. That's how we develop our workout. That's the thing that might change the most. And I have my notes from this past meet, things we need to work on. We've been talking a lot more about speed into the wall, speed out of the wall. We saw some of that this weekend, but we address that. So if you're racing at speed, full intensity at regular dual meets, that's going to help the coaches write better workouts the following week.
And it's so amazing that you say that, because in one of our programs, the Mind Work program, we do say that our thoughts are our reality. Literally, the information that we are holding in our heads is our truth in that moment. If we think we're going to win, every cell in our body is directed towards the thought that we are already winning, because it's what's inside our brains. And the flip side of that, of course, being if we are not focusing in that direction, then we're losing out on the opportunity to use our everything we have available to us towards that goal. And I absolutely agree with everything you're saying. If every meet counts and is important, then they're going to get the most out of every opportunity they have to really see who they are and what they're capable of. Because it's not just about beating a record. It's also proving to ourselves that our work is paying off and that we are achieving and accomplishing the realistic goals that we set for ourselves. There is that drive to move forward, which is a very, very healthy thing, and that everybody, they find their passion in. It's great to be able to exercise that passion.
And I mean, how many times does a swimmer come out of a race? And this happens in almost every single meet, and they'll say, I know I could have gone faster. That's great. You want to hear that. You want to hear that they feel like they can do better, but also, then why didn't we do it? Come on, get going, get excited, race, and with, forget about COVID and all these kind of things. How many times you've been to a meet and you're ready to get to that big meet, and then the pool is shut down because of chlorine issues, or there's a snowstorm, or there's a whatever. Never throw away an opportunity. Yeah. You got an opportunity in front of you, take it, because you don't know when the next one's coming.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. So tell me a little bit about some of the things that your swimmers have surprised you with. Tell me some things that you didn't expect them to say, you didn't expect them to do, and you were pleasantly surprised by them.
That kind of happens almost every day.
Great to hear.
Yeah, and sometimes the surprise is good and sometimes the surprise is not so good. With this group in particular, this is a very strong math and science school. It's a STEM school. So almost everybody here is trying to be an engineer or literally a rocket scientist. They tell me things about what they're doing in class, and I can't keep up. This group is very cerebral. I like to joke around a lot in practice, so that might be one difference. Is that, until they really got to know me, I would say something, a little bit on the joking side, and they're trying to think about it. Like, what does that mean? Like, guys, it doesn't mean anything. It's a joke. It's just, I'm just trying to be funny. And like, why are you being funny now? Well, because you're about to do a 3,000 yard set. It's going to hurt a little bit. So, a little comic relief. No, but they talk about all these different things they're working on. And it's so impressive. It's so impressive. We have a young lady that's staying here for her 5th year, working on her PhD. She was just invited up to Pittsburgh to give a talk. And I really wish I could talk intelligently about it. Our team's webpage or, Instagram page, and you can find out more. But she presented a paper in Pittsburgh and it was just impressive. And then she came back that week and won 2 events at our dual meet, and so, things like that and different wind turbines and things they're inventing. So it just reminds you that, swimming is great. Swimming is wonderful, but there's so much outside the pool. And, this group is literally rocket scientists and it's kind of fascinating. So we use that stuff to our advantage. But one of the things, though, to talk about what surprises me is, again, we got a lot of engineers here and one of our power racks is broken. And they're like, well, when are we going to fix it? And I'm like, when are you guys going to fix it? You guys are literally engineers. A pulley system is the oldest tool on the planet. The cavemen were doing it. So put that engineering degree to work and get over there and fix it. So, I don't need to pay somebody to do it. We got free labor right here, This is a good group. They have big hearts. They have big brains, and they work their tail off. So that's been something different for me at the school, really adding a cerebral approach to how we train, because they want to know the why a lot more than other groups I've been around. Or maybe the how, maybe not so much the why. They pretty much do what they're asked, and I really appreciate that. But they want to know the mechanics behind it because of their, technology background.
Well, that's incredible. And actually something that I can definitely recommend both to your team and to everybody who's listening right now. Yeah. Fluid Mechanics has an online set of tools that coaches, team members, anybody can subscribe to and use. They have training planners, animations, a lot of educational and video content. And a lot of it goes into the why and the how of the hydrodynamics of swimming, the force in the water, and how we take advantage of that, using the actual physics and motion of water to, take the most advantage and get the most out of our strokes. So anybody who's interested in looking at that can take a look at the FM Fast Track on our website. As far as you, tell me a little bit about your future plans. Where do you want to see the team go next? What are some things that are coming up that you're looking forward to?
Right. I mean, I think that the thing, just like everybody else, we're in that mid-major group of teams. The NCAA, Division I national championships is a very, very fast meet. Some argue that it's the fastest meet on the planet. And more, not maybe necessarily the fastest, but the most competitive meet on the planet, even more so than the Olympics, because of how hard it is to get into that fold. I think per event, it's 29 men, 39 women. It's tough, but we want to be competitive on that level, and that's our goal. There's some stepping stones to get to that point. Obviously, like every team, you want to be very successful winning your conference. But there's, like I said, we had this, one of our breaststrokers made the NCAA B cut this past weekend. We have some that are very, very close, within a tenth. The College Swimming Coaches Association started up a meet probably about 7-8 years ago, the National Invitational. So for the basketball fans out there, think of the NIT for March Madness. So very similar meet. A lot of the bigger schools go there. You have representation from the Power Fives and things like that. So we want to go to that meet and be very competitive. And that should be a great stepping stone to get to bigger and better meets within the NCAA. And then furthermore, we want to really become a year-round program. I would really like to have a postgraduate team here that's very consistent. Right now, our postgraduate team is a team of one. And he's great. He's an alumni. He's originally from Russia, and he's here in the U.S. Finishing up his PhD as well. And we have some big plans for him. How great would it be if he's back representing on an international level? We do have plans to be year round. We are only obviously 3 years away from the next Olympic trials, Olympic Games. So if we were to have people representing at Olympic trials and knock on wood, maybe the Olympic Games sometime soon. It doesn't have to be just the teams in Texas and California and Florida representing at the Olympic trials. We can have a college or two in Maryland, and needless to say, there's plenty of fast swimmers in Maryland. We just got to get them to kind of go to college here too.
Yeah, well, I absolutely wish all of your swimmers all the best. And at this point, I think we're going to have to check in with you in like a year from now and see how things are going, see how many.
Absolutely, please do. Yeah, come on down. And we have this beautiful outdoor 50-meter pool. So, maybe you guys come on down and do a traveling road show or something.
Oh, we have so many ideas. We can definitely talk about it.
Excellent.
So do you have anything else that you would like to leave us with? Any words of wisdom or nuggets of truth?
Well, I was thinking about that. And when we talked last time, we talked about one of my former bosses and my first real mentor, my protege, or I'm her protege, or how's that work? And I forgot to name her name. And that's you always hear about these actors walking off the stage at the Oscars and they're like, I forgot to thank,
Yep.
So, but I think it is worthwhile. First of all, her name is Linda Garcia, and amazing. And we probably wouldn't be sitting here talking today in this capacity if it wasn't for Linda. And we talk a lot about competitive swimming, and it's tremendous. But if you were a swimmer of any ability level in Central Connecticut in the 90s or the 2000s, chances are you learned how to swim from Linda or learned how to swim from somebody who Linda taught. So anybody I ever taught, it was because of Linda Garcia. And swimming fast is great, but I think about it from time to time and the number of lives she probably saved, just because she swam, and the lives that she made better because of wellness that she put swimming into their life. Hopefully she sees this, and there's so many people that don't get the thank yous that they deserve. And Linda is the best of the best. And anybody that met her even for a second was better for that. And she's a tremendous person. So all the swimmers and swim coaches out there, don't forget to thank the people that taught you how to swim. Swimming fast is great, but at one point you were going around on your little floaties and your bubbles, and those people had a part of your journey too, and they're very, very important.
Thank you so much for taking your time. And yes, absolutely. Thank you to Linda Garcia for everything that she has done for the swimming community. I will definitely most likely be seeing you again. So in the meantime, have a wonderful rest of your day.
Definitely. You have a great day, and thanks for having me.
Bye.